Yeah, hi all, good morning, good evening. So, in today's session, I'm going to explain about uh, optimizing Informatica session. Okay, so in this session, we'll learn about the optimizing at workflow level, how the optimization happen in workflow level, like session, task, and everything, right? So that part we will learn at in this session. Okay, so yeah, come with me. This topic we included below topics like grid, push down optimization. Okay, so this optimization where we perform basically we performing from the workflow level like session task. Okay, and then concurrent session, how the concurrent session and the workflow is working. Suppose you want to execute same workflow and something, right, to for the multiple locations, right? So you can configure the concurrent sessions, and how what is the buffer memory, and how to increase that memory and decrease that memory according to your requirement, right? What is the cache, what is the target based commit. Okay, and target based commit, like you can just decrease, increase, and based on the requirement performance. And next topic is real time processing staging area. So what is the real time processing, right? And at staging area, like suppose you pick that data, copy the data from source, and just put it in our truncate load table, like temporary table kind of. So that called a staging area, right? Where the log files, right? Suppose your log file is generated, choose those that kind of information, how to reduce or something, right? Error tracing, right? Then what is the post session email? Suppose once your all process or everything was done, right, then you can trigger the email, send it to email to the concerned person. So how to configure that part? So these part will cover into this session. Okay, so yeah, so first I'm going to explain in today. I will explain about the complete theoretical part, and then in next session we'll cover in the technical part with example. Okay, S- so here in grid, if you understand the grid, what is the grid actually? You can use a grid to increase session, right? Uh, to increase the session and the workflow performance. The grid is basically we are using for the increasing the performance at the session and workflow level. Understood, right? So in grid, like in there, that is an alias. Like we assign the group of a node. A node means our session is running on the IS, right? Integration service space. So there is multiple node, right? When you install your Informatica, you understand what is the node like that, or admin can understand better. They can because everything is running to using nodes, right? So that node where we are talking, like that node allows you to automate the distribution, right? Suppose you executed multiple process, like executed multiple workflow, and that both workflow or three workflow going on same node, right? How to distribute that information, that's what here is telling, right? So the distribution of workflow and the session across the node. Okay, now next is load balancer. Suppose your load balancer is nothing, that's kind of distributing the load to different uh, things. There's something is like some admin level, but yeah, I'm trying to explain to you. Like suppose we are running multiple, sometimes our integration service or something will get down, right? That time a load balancer is doing to transfer that load to other so because parallelly our admin was keeping multiple nodes, right, so that they can transfer if any issue happen, right, during the runtime. That's what load balancer distribute that task to node without overloading any node. Okay, when you here is just thinking like overload means, suppose any task is taking over time, so or something that you are accepting multiple tasks at same time, right? That time the load balancer is transferred their task to other node. Okay, so this is called about the load balancer. Or next, like when you use a grid, right, the integration service means IS service distribute the workflow. Okay, distribute means the transfer that workflow tasks and the session threads across uh, nodes, right? Across means suppose we have a 20 nodes, right? Admin was enabled that 20 node. Suppose our one node is taking huge task, receiving the task, right? So that time that they suppose we restrict that only this node like three tasks or two tasks can handle, right? Suppose you have greater than two penny task come in third task get came, right? That time we transfer that task to other nodes, okay? So this is called about the load balancer. A load balancer distribute task to nodes without overloading any node, okay? So running a workflow and a session on the nodes of a grid providers provides the below kind of like what is the information, right, which we provide to our grid, right? So that information like first information is balance the integration service workload. This is the working characteristic, right, for load balancer, right? It's balancing our is workload, right? Why we are saying the balancing load? Because some here the working criteria is not overload anything. So if you overload it will be crash. Understood, right? Suppose if you just a simple thing, suppose you are traveling right somewhere and just to take example of one car, right? And the capacity was only 5 seat, but you want to sit seven or eight, right? Then how it's possible? Not possible. Someone was sit and someone on top, right? That is overload kind of. And some maybe your car performance is below 1,000. It's not able to pull, right, all people like seven or eight. It's pull only five. Then how it pull? It will be spread, right? So same issue in in system also in right. So in this case, like that's what here is to try to tell us the load balancer working like the transferring the load to other task, other availability of nodes. Okay, and next topic processes the concurrent session faster. And why you are saying? Suppose you are executing multiple tasks. It should be if you are managing very well to load balancer, it will be easy to execute your task faster compared to, yeah, because he transferred the load to among all. Just let's suppose we are working a multiple 5-10 people, like suppose someone have the more work, someone have no work, right? That same kind of apply the grid as well, right? Load balancer as well. The load balancer a kind of a manager, right? And he's transferred the task to among all. Okay, so the process next topic process the partition faster. Like suppose if any partition happen, then we can process the faster. Next is the integration service requires CPU resources for parsing input data and formatting the output data. Okay, parsing input data means suppose we take that data and parsing like transposing anything according to your logic and formatting the output data. Okay, a grid can improve the performance, okay, when you have a performance bottleneck. Suppose we observe any performance bottleneck in their area, then in that case it will be improved and extract the load steps of a session. Okay, a grid can improve performance when memory or temporary storage is a performance bottleneck. Okay, when a power center mapping contain transformation that has a cache memory, cache memory. Okay, so in this case, we are going to improve your cache memory as well. So deploying adequate memory and a separate disk storage for each cache instance improve performance. So why we are saying that deploying adequate memory and a separate disk storage? Because suppose our DBO or something like they are managing because of very huge millions recorder, they are a rack or something kind of storage, right? Sometimes a storage space and want to relocate that kind of thing. So they can distribute that in memory and relocate like for cache and other thing for separate disk. Okay, they can divide so that the load can be divided accordingly and provide the performance better way. Okay, So this is all about the grid. And next things in again and continuous on the grid as well. Like suppose we are running a session, right, and grid, and can improve throughput also. Throughput means if you notice there each option to running like per byte per second, right. So there is a throughput because the grid provide more resource. Right, suppose we added the resource storage disk, right. That time you found the more resources to run the session. Then performance improves when you run a few sessions on the grid at a time. Okay, you observe like there is performance get approved, right. So when we running a session on a grid is more efficient than running a workflow over a grid if the number of concurrent session partitions is less than the number of nodes. Okay, when you run multiple session on a grid, session subtasks, okay, share node resource with subtasks of other concurrent. Okay, running a session on a grid require coordination, okay, between process running on different node, or same sum mapping running on a session on a grid require additional overhead of move data from one node to another node. Okay, in addition to loading the memory in CPU resource in each node, running multiple sessions on a grid adds to network traffic. Okay. Oh, so next point is when you run a workflow on a grid, the integration service loads memory and CPU resources on nodes without requiring coordination between the nodes. Okay, this is all about the grid, right. How the grid is working. So in grid actually just increase the session and workflow performance. That's what and we are part of the load balancer, and that's what. Okay, so this is all about the grid. I hope you understand. If you have any question, you can just comment when. Okay, I will reply. Okay, next topic is like push down optimization. How the push down optimization is working, right? The push down optimization is nothing that's the increase the performance, because everything we are talking for the performance perspective, right? All topics. So we will talk everything is performance perspective. So the push down optimization is doing the session performance. Okay, the push transformation, whatever the transformation we have written, right, that transformation will push logic to the source or target database. Whatever suppose you are written aggregator sorter whatever lookup, right, that transformation logic will put in source. Okay, everything it will be put on source. uh, then based on the mapping and session configuration, the integration service executes SQL against the source or target database. Okay, instead of processing the transformation logic. Okay, within the integration service. Okay, I hope understand. So whatever you have written in transformation log, it will be pushed to the source or target based on the mapping and the session configuration. The integration service execute the SQL against the source or target database instead of processing the transformation. Okay, so this is the push down optimization. Okay, so in this I will share some more detail. Okay, because in real time we whatever we have that something is not available, but we enable that part, and just I will explain. Okay, so next is like concurrent session and the workflow. If possible, run session and the workflow concurrently to improve performance. For example, if you load data into an analytics schema, right, where you have a dimension and fact table, load dimensions concurrently. That's what we are using the concurrent session at workflow. Okay, so this is all about this. I will explain some technical part also, so that you could be understand. So in today's session, I will explain till the push down optimization and the concurrent. So you can just go through everything, and you can ping me, comment me. Okay, I will share the more detail. Okay, thanks for watching.